So welcome to this workshop on 2024, Crafting a Year of Purposeful Change. Thank you for being here live. I'm so thrilled to be meeting up with you. If you've got any questions, of course, you can use the chat. You can ask me questions, or you can just comment, whatever feels good to you. I'm going to share my screen, and I'm going to start right off the bat with a question for you. Are you entertaining a fantasy or are you building a dream? I'm asking because we will be talking about dreams. Now, what's the difference? A fantasy is something that could stay in your mind. It's something you like thinking about, but that you might not want to experience in real life. It's something that you don't want to take action on. And dreams are very much something we want to experience in real life. It's very much something that we want to take action on. And that's what we are going to talk about today. My name is Katrina Horn. I'm a dream life designer, and I help my clients close the gap between their real lives and their ideal lives. So setting goals, dreaming is all part of that. If you know me just a little bit, you will know that my dream is to live in a chateau. So I'm not telling myself, oh, I want to live in a chateau by March this year, because living in a chateau for me is a 5-year plan, and I very much hope to be living there when I'm 60. So it's a little bit out in the future, but I can still take action on it today. And that is really what I want you to see, that our dream lives doesn't need to be something out there that we might get to one day, like the heavens will open and our new dream life will descend on us and we will suddenly be ecstatically happy. We can take elements from that dream life into our lives right now and start living at least parts of it. So that's what I'm going to encourage you to do today. Whether you want to call it goals for 2024 or dreams or action steps or exactly what it is you want to call it, that's really not that important to me. It's about finding something that will create change in your life, right? So we're not always living the same day. We're not always living the same year, right? We are introducing change, and we are doing so on purpose. So Andrea says, I thought about purpose change. Okay, purposeful change. It is. It's the change we want to effect. Thank you for that, Andrea. It's really seeing what can I change now so that I will start feeling better, so that I'll be living more of my dream life right now. It's doing that on purpose and consciously and bringing that into our lives. Does that make sense? Let me know. Right. So what we'll cover today is we'll do an evaluation of 2024, and we'll do that without the judgment. It's not about making 2023 wrong. It's not about saying that 2023 sucked, it was all black, and 2024 is going to be all marvelous, right? It's going to be all white. There's so much space and nuance in between the all black and the all white, and that's what I'm going to talk to. So let me just check with the chat. Brilliant. Thank you, Wendy. Thank you, Andrea. So evaluate without judgment. We're going to decide what to improve. We're going to decide an action plan to do this, and I'll tell you why. Then we're going to evaluate the cost of the implementation. And I'm not talking about money here. I'm going to talk about mindset and habits and everything that that creates that kind of resistance to new things in life. And well, you'll see what I mean later. Then we're going to see how we can measure progress, because when we measure progress, we can celebrate. We can celebrate the progress we make. And when we measure, again, it's not about nothing is working or everything is working. It's looking at exactly what is working so we can create more of it. You'll be leaving with an action plan that I mentioned. You want to implement it because you will be believing that you can do this. You will know you can do it because you will have crafted it exactly on purpose so that it suits you. And you'll be leaving with a motivation plan on demand because you'll be celebrating the progress, which will create a lot of good feelings around your purposeful change, around the new habits you might want to create about the change. So you'll want to take action on it, and you'll be leaving with the satisfaction of knowing that you will be where you want to be in 2025. So this will save you all the overthinking and the overspending. It will save you going into all the doubt and buffering, like buffering with watching too much Netflix or overeating or whatever it is your particular flavor of buffering is. Just think about it. If you didn't need to buffer to feel better, if you could just feel good because you were right on target, you were right on target to living the life that you want to live on purpose, because that is how you want it to be. You won't be making all those self-recriminations, and you won't be listening in to your negative self-talk, and it will save you unnecessary disappointment and frustration. So let's get started. Before we go into the nitty-gritty of the workbook, what if 2024 really was different? Just open your mind to that. What if actually I didn't have to keep taking what I did in 2023, 2022, 21, 20, if I didn't have to bring all that with me into 2024, and what if I could actually transform either my whole life or just parts of it? What if I actually believed that was possible? So you won't give up ahead of time. So what I'm going to talk about is how to make it tangible and not keep it sort of abstract, because when we make those New Year's resolutions, we could be thinking, oh, I want to be vibrant and healthy and fit, and I want to have a larger social circle. I want to be going out at least once a week. I want to change my jobs and make more money. And we've got all these dreams, right? But what do they actually look like in your life? And what actually are you willing to do towards them? So let's make all that very tangible, so it doesn't stay in the realm of fantasy, becomes a very tangible dream that you can take action on. So I made a workbook. If you're watching the replay, you might want to go and get hold of that. You can download it, you can print it, or you can write on it. If you're here live, I suggest just follow along with the screen, because you won't be able to put me on pause, right? But if you're watching the replay, you can just put me on pause and do the exercises as we go along. First exercise, I would like for you to choose an area of your life, and I've got 10 suggestions here. One area where you would really like to see change. So just take 1 second so you get a good idea. Maybe there are 3 or 4, or maybe all 10 of them. But can I just encourage you to stay a little bit modest here and tell yourself, yeah, where do I really want to start off? I mean, if you've got all 10 you want to change, that's all well and good. But if you just to start off with, choose 1 to 3 and see how you get on with that before you add anything on, that would be much more in service to you and to achieving your goals. So 10, says Wendy, environment and lifestyle changes. Yeah. Anybody else wants to share? What do you want to change here? What is a purposeful change? 1 and 3. So that's professional or career development. Personal wealth management. Yes. 2, health and wellness. Work-life balance. Nice. Yes. Right. Got a few ideas here. So 1 and 8, career development and work-life balance. It's all gorgeous, right? 2, health and wellness. Okay. So you can just play along with 1. I'm going to give you a few examples as we go along, but it's good if you've got something already you can imagine. So let's move on. I'm going to start off, as I said, by evaluating 2023. So name the area you just chose, be it career, health and wellness, whatever. My example is going to concern health and wellness and sleep, because I think sleep is one of the most important things in life. Like, I see life as we have a purpose in life. We work, like we get up every morning to do something. Could be looking after your grandchildren for free, right? But could also be paid work. Whatever it is, that is part of life. Then we've, of course, got our lives as social beings, which means we are part of a family or circle of friends. We are socially engaged. Then, to stay happy, we need a rest and we need sleep. And some of my clients, they confuse rest and sleep, right? They think they can go from busy, busy, busy work into profound sleep. That is a little bit difficult unless you're exhausted. And I think the aim of my life is not to exhaust myself, right? The aim of my life is to enjoy myself. So to do so, I need to protect my sleep. So let's evaluate 2023. What did I like about my sleep? I like how it allows me to regenerate, and you can be more or less expansive on this. What did you like about it? You can also be very specific. Like when I lie down in my bed, it's so soft. When my head hits the pillow, it feels so good, and I feel so enveloped and warm and soft, and it's all just something that makes me feel really, really privileged. It makes me feel really pampered and fortunate that I can have all that. Like, and I can have as many pillows as I want, right? And I can enjoy that. So it's really sort of a self-care moment for me to go to bed. What would I like to change? I would like to protect it because I've been engaging in some behavior that doesn't serve my sleep, right? I have been thinking that I can get away with less sleep. So what is no longer working? It's going to bed late. So this is a change I want to operate. This is a purposeful change. It's protecting my sleep. One of the things I would do to protect that sleep, among many others, is to go to bed earlier. So I'm going to set a goal for January 2025. And I didn't make a mistake in the years, because I'm going through all the 2024 and bam, we're in January 2025. You can even say we're on the 10th of January 2025. In area number 1, that is in the area you chose. So for me, my example is health and wellness. Here's what's changed in January. And all this you will be going through in the workbook. So don't worry about it. You can just do it in the workbook. So what's changed is I'm stopping work at 6 p.m. So you might be thinking, well, what has that got to do with protecting your sleep? Well, it's got to do with not leaving work late, right? Not being working well into the evening, right? Because that element of rest cannot take place if I work right up to the moment I have to eat and go to sleep. So there has to be a moment of rest in between. So I'm going to tell myself I have to stop work at 6 p.m. Then I'm going to eat peacefully and mindfully in 2025. This will all be taking place. I will be habitually stopping work at 6 p.m. and I will then go on to eat peacefully and mindfully. And after dinner, I will watch something for max 1 hour. So this is just an example, right? I'm not telling you that you can't watch more television or YouTube or Netflix or whatever for more than 1 hour. It's just an example, but really think about it. How often does that happen to you, that you're sitting on the sofa and you're being drawn in by a fantastic film or documentary or whatever, and you just don't see that it's getting to be late, right? You're not noticing. So that's one of the pitfalls, right? That will prevent me from going to bed earlier, and that will have me going to bed late. So in January, this will no longer be a problem because I'm limiting myself to 1 hour. So at 8:30, I switch off all screens to read, to listen to music, meditate, I knit. I don't know what you do to relax, to rest, whatever it is. Could be calling a friend, chatting to a neighbor, whatever it is. But my objective is to no longer be watching a screen. So I could be saying the lights will be out at 10 p.m., meaning that I will be tucked up in bed, right? That is my goal. So, any questions so far? Just setting little goals. You can set more, you can be more specific, you can be less specific. Let me just have a look at the chat. Oh, I'm enjoying how you're using the chat. Oh, fantastic. Brilliant. Yeah, good example, which I can implement easily. Right. Just think about how important sleep is. Right? You wouldn't ask a child to go on not enough sleep, would you? So why would you ask yourself to do that? Moving on. Next exercise is designing an action plan. So Philida is saying, I need to go to bed earlier so I can get up earlier. Yeah, that's exactly what I'm talking about, Philida. Can you see how getting yourself to bed earlier so you won't be as tired when you have to get up early, how that will support your whole well-being, how that will support you in anything you do in life, how you feel, how you interact with people, how well you can focus in the day and all of that. So I think this is such a good place to start. So I'd like for you now to design an action plan of how, in my example, you're going to protect your sleep. So you can design anything from 4 to 12 steps. In the workbook, I put in 12 steps, which you can also break into sub-steps. But let me just show you how I work this out. So I start off by saying, let me cultivate focus at work, because if you remember, I wanted to stop work at 6 p.m. So how can I cultivate focus? Well, it's one of my action steps, because if I focus more at work, I get more done. So I'm not faffing about at 6 p.m., not having done everything I wanted to do, right? It will be done because I'm really good at focusing, because that's what I've been working on. Then you put a date on its on when you want it to be effective from. So giving myself from now, 10th of January, till the 5th of February, to only focus on how to cultivate focus at work, right? I'm not going to say I have to transform my whole work life. I have to transform everything I do in the evening. I have to transform everything in my life. I'm just choosing one little thing. Focus on cultivating the focus, the efficiency, the productivity at work. And on February the 5th, I'm going to evaluate my efforts. Then, to help me have that smooth and restful evening, I'm going to prep meals over the weekend. So I don't know, I mean, this is just an example. Feel free to not want to do that. But logically speaking, if you spend a lot of time in the evening prepping your meals and you get to go to bed late because of it, well, maybe you want to do some preemptive prepping over the weekend and do it while you've got time, while there's no sort of deadline, and where you can perhaps even relax and have fun with it. So meal prep over weekends. So I'm going to start that perhaps on February the 5th, if I'm good at cultivating the focus at work. So if I start preparing and start practicing prepping meals over the weekend, maybe that will be in place on March the 16th. That is my goal at any rate. Yes, don't snack late at night. Okay, no lights, no phone. Yes, you're so right. I completely agree with you, Wendy. So I'm just setting a fictive date of March the 16th. Then I'm going to leave the office at 6. And I'm going to do that once I've got the focus at work, once I've prepped the meals, I'm going to practice leaving at 6. And that's going to be in place on March 29th. Then I'm going to practice having dinner at 7, so that I've got the time to eat, I've got the time to watch a bit of television or do whatever is my sort of resting before going to bed, so that I can switch off the screens or whatever I decided, And that is going to be effective on April the 10th. So I'm not attempting all of it at once. I'm starting with step 1, moving on to step 2, step 3, step 4. And the idea behind that is, if I start with step 1 and I keep doing it till it becomes habit, right? Then I no longer have to spend mental activity, mental energy on it, because it's just part of what I do naturally. So you can break it into sub-steps. So here's an example for cultivating focus at work. You can, and I recommend that for everybody, limit distractions. What really stops us from achieving anything, I think, is that we get distracted, don't we? Like, boom, our focus is elsewhere, our attention is gone. So limiting distractions. So that could involve telling your work colleagues, I'm not available till 11 a.m. or whatever, you know, setting up boundaries that will really limit how you can be distracted. And setting a timer for social media could also be a very good thing to put into action. You could also, what I find useful is to plan my work the day before. So when I hit my workspace, I work from home, but when I get in front of my computer, I know exactly what I'm doing. I'm not sitting there thinking, oh, what shall I do today, right? I've got an action plan. So I plan that the day before. So I just get on with it. You can also set task timers. I know it's a bit annoying. We're going to talk about that later. You can also learn how to say no whenever possible, meaning that you don't take on work that you don't need to take on, right? Because you're focusing on the work you want to get done so that you can leave at 6. So don't take on more work. You can start bringing in lunch, so you're not popping out of the office or your workplace to go and go somewhere, stand in a line, wait for ages, get your lunch, waffle it down. Like, you can bring your lunch and be a bit intentional about it. You can also set fixed times for breaks, fixed times for moving the body. Like, I will always get up every 2 hours or more often to move around, to stretch, to get a change from sitting down, right? All of this could be the sub-steps that will help you focus. Any questions so far? Any comments? Love to know what you think about it. So feel free to participate in the chat. So, unless you want to comment, I'm going to ask you, well, are you willing to do and feel what it takes? Are you willing to have that annoying timer go off? Hello, Andrea. Yeah. Okay. Well, happy moving then. Okay, I'm sorry. I'm just having it stand. Oh, yeah. I love that. Philida says having a sit and stand desk helps a lot. Yeah. Of course, it can feel so good to go out for lunch. Yeah, it can. It takes more time, right? As long as it doesn't endanger you stopping at 6 p.m. Yeah, we can too easily miss the sub steps. You are so right. We can. So let's be mindful of them, right? Let's practice. And when I say practice, let's practice till it becomes habit. But we can't practice anything we are really fundamentally unwilling to do. And that is why we don't achieve our goals. It's because there's something that creates a resistance that prevents us from following through on what it is we've decided on, right? So an example would be, if you want to start your own company and make tons of money with it, but you are unwilling to do any marketing, you're very unlikely to be able to, well, to create a lot of money with your business, if you see what I mean. Also, a more perhaps an example you've all have tried is to lose weight, but you are unwilling to change what you eat and you don't want to exercise, right? So are you really willing to do what it takes? And if not, let's change it. Any other good comments? No. So let's move into calculating the cost. What is the cost of going to bed at 10 p.m.? Right? What will I have to be willing to do? So in my dieting example, well, I might have to be willing to revise what I eat, and I might have to be willing to try out the exercise, right? So to go to bed at 10 p.m., I will have to develop self-discipline. I'll have to be able to talk myself into sticking to my plan, even when it doesn't feel good in the moment. And I'm pausing a little bit here and being a little bit dramatic, because when we don't follow through on what it is we really want, like we really want to sleep well, we want to go to bed early enough so we get enough sleep, we're going to feel so much better once that becomes habit, right? Once we sleep well, once we can get up without being tired, once we can get up having slept enough, then we will feel so much better. But it's out there in the future. And if we don't believe that we will get there one day, then we are unwilling to take action. So we want the feel good in the moment, because that is something our mind tells us that, well, if I already feel good, I will already have felt good, right? If I put the feel good out in the future, and right now I have to feel bad because I have to switch off the television or whatever, well, then you're not so likely to get to the place you want to be. And it's the postponed reward, really. It's gratification in the future. So yes, self-motivation is hard for some people, but why not team up, right? Why not find a partner in crime and do it with somebody? That could help. Moving on, to go to bed at 10 p.m., I'll have to develop persistence. I have to keep doing something, even when I don't see immediate results, or till I evaluate and find a better way. So imagine that you go to bed at 10 p.m., lights are out, you're lying there and you can't sleep. Right? You could be thinking, oh, it's not worth it. I can't sleep at 10. Right? But you might have to work yourself into the habit of going to sleep at 10 p.m. And that could take some time. But all the time it takes for you to develop that new habit, if you stop doing it because it's still not working after 1, 2, 3 days, well, then you're never going to get to that end result. So are you willing to keep doing something till it works? Also, accept the timers even when they annoy me. Like, I would hate to have timers go off all during the day. Like, I've got no notifications on my phone. I've got no notifications on my computer. I've just decided times when I'm going to look at to see if I've got any messages, so that it doesn't go bing, bing, bing all the time. But I am very mindful about my pauses. Right. So Philip has got a stand-up, sit-down desk, which is fabulous. I like to sort of leave my workspace, go out, breathe in the fresh air, move about, move my body, have a drink, do something to get away from my workspace. So I will have to accept a timer for that, right? So that is the cost. Am I willing to pay it? Also, I will have to give up social media time, perhaps, because when I'm in bed, I can't be scrolling all over social media or wasting time doing it. So I'll have to perhaps give up some of the time I spend on social media. I'm going to have to give up screen time, perhaps. Late night chats to friends on the phone, the friend who phones you at 10 p.m. to go on and on and on, and at 11 p.m. you're still not in bed. Walks with a dog late at night. I enjoy walking out late at night because I can see the stars. So yeah, but their stars up in winter time before 10 p.m. So that's all good. Cuddles on the sofa time, difficult one to give up on. Extra scoops of ice cream late at night. Also, what will I have to be willing to feel to accomplish it? So if you think about giving up the good time on the sofa, perhaps with your cats, perhaps with your man, perhaps with somebody, or just on your own, sitting there feeling good, watching a really feel-good movie, What will I have to be willing to feel to follow through with this? And it could be disappointment, could be frustration, could be feeling deprived. Oh, I'm being deprived of Netflix now. Accomplished also. Think about the good feelings. Proud. How many of you practice feeling proud? I'm just curious. Really? Right? How many of you are in the habit of feeling proud? And would you be willing to feel proud? Because if you're willing to get up of that sofa at 10 p.m. and go to bed, then you can start feeling proud. Oh, I'm following through on all this. I'm creating purposeful change, right? I know that in January 2025, I'll be able to do this. Yeah. Right. So Andrea does feel proud, and Phillida says she's English, meaning that if you're English, you don't speak a lot about being proud. Yeah. But we are allowed to be proud, right? When we say, I'm so proud of myself, it doesn't mean that we are better than other people, right? Just remember that. My yoga teacher told me, perhaps when I was 27, that telling myself I'm beautiful doesn't mean that I'm the only beautiful person. And that took so much of that guilt trip away from me. Like I could just say, oh yeah, I'm among the beautiful people, right? Doesn't mean that I'm stuck up. Just means that that's how I want to feel. Yeah, Hungarians are trained to be proud. Oh, wow. That's fabulous, Andrea. Yes, you are worth it. Definitely. Yes. So good. So, so good. So I think telling yourself, oh, I'm so proud because I accomplished this. I mean, it doesn't take anything away from anybody, does it? Doesn't mean that you're better. Just think about that. I'm no better, but I'm pretty damn proud. So on a scale of 1 to 10, 1 being no chance, 10 being this is awesome, how ready and willing are you to pay this price? Are you willing to leave the sofa, to leave your cats? Are you willing not to have ice cream in the evening? Are you willing to feel frustrated? Are you willing to feel deprived? Are you willing? How willing are you? So if it's not a 10, what would make it a 10? It's a good question always to ask yourself. So let's say you're an 8. So you're thinking, am I willing? I think most evenings I am, or I could make myself willing. Well, what would make it a 10? And I really like to reward myself, like going to bed. Oh, let me just light a candle and let me just play some soft music and so I create something I'm looking forward to by going to bed. What would make it a 10? What would make it worth my while getting out of the sofa and into my bed? Would it be more fluffy pillows? What would it be? What would make it a 10? Let me just check oh, good. I've got 10s here. Brilliant. 10, 10. Excellent. 10 is so easy to take action from. If you're saying 1, then it's not even worth bothering about. You're not going to follow through on it, right? Might as well not even attempt it because you're just going to be disappointed in yourself and you're going to tell yourself, I can't change, right? So we need it to be at least an 8 or a high number for us to start taking action on it. If I can't make it a 10, what points can I negotiate? I could negotiate perhaps going to bed at 10:30. Would that seem more possible, more doable, right? What can I negotiate? Instead of having 2 scoops of ice cream, can I have 1? Just to practice, right? So again, it's not all or nothing. It's not black or white. There's so much in between. What can I find where it feels doable to me, where I want to take action, where I'm not setting myself up against something so difficult to accomplish that I won't stay with it. I won't even try for more than 3 days. Okay, don't worry, Lisa. It was lovely to have you here. See you soon. What is my revised goal or the revised timeline? Because we can either revise our goals. Okay, so I'm not going to go to bed at 10 p.m. I'm going to go to bed at 10:30. Or I could revise the timeline. Instead of having that in place for April, I could say, oh, maybe I can give myself till November. So we've got wiggle space. Also, what steps will I have to revise? How will I have to go about it? Can I add more steps? Can I move the deadlines? So that's all the wiggle space we've got, if you see what I mean. How is it working? We want to find out if it's working. If it's not working, then we want to stop doing it, right? And we want to tweak it so that it will work. So if you see yourself still not focusing at work, still not being able to stop at 6, still not prepping meals so that you get a good meal in the evening early enough to be able to go to bed, all that, what is not working? How is it working? So on a scale of 1 to 10, how well am I focusing at work? And I would suggest you revise that, you evaluate that at the date you set. So I think I said the 5th of February. I want to evaluate how well am I focusing? So what is working, what is not working? On a scale of 1 to 10, how well am I prepping meals over the weekend? And it's not to sort of find fault. It's not to tell yourself, oh, I'm rubbish at this. It's just to see, well, am I actually doing it? How well is it working? If it's not working out, those meal prepping things over the weekend, let's stop doing it. Let's try something different, right? Because keeping doing something that's not working is completely demoralizing, and it won't help us reach our goals. It won't help us get to where it is we want to be in January. It won't create that purposeful change. So on a scale of 1 to 10, how often am I leaving the office at 6? Let's be honest. So you'll have to keep observing yourself, keep noticing what you're doing. So is this actually working? Am I leaving at 6? If not, how can I tweak it? What can I change? How can I do things differently? Yes, it takes, oh, yeah, but you're very, very, Howard says, aim at 100%. It takes the same effort. Well, I wouldn't agree on that, but I don't know exactly what you're talking about. I mean, changing completely takes more effort than introducing change little by little. So the next question is, on a scale of 1 to 10, how often am I having dinner at 7, right? Just evaluate. What is working? What is not working? How is it working? What can I do more of? What can I stop doing because it's not working, right? Makes sense? Let me know. I'm sure you've all tried dieting, and maybe you've been doing calorie restriction and found out that that didn't work. So why would you want to keep doing it and beating yourself up for doing it and it not working, right? So some things we have to stop doing because they're not working, and then we have to find a way that we can do it differently so that it does work. So we say in the coaching world that keeping doing the same thing, expecting it to work differently or to give a different outcome is just silliness, which is true. And I find that so often with people who want to diet their way to losing weight. So moving on, let me not get too much off on a tangent. So if not a 10, what can I tweak? How can I make it more enjoyable, doable? So if I'm not getting myself off to bed at 10 p.m., would a tidy bedroom help me? Would candlelight help me? Would soft music help me? Would more pillows help me? How can I make it more enjoyable? What can I take off the table? Is there something that's not working? Is it the meal prep over the weekend? Is that just not working? I could just stop doing it, because instead of beating myself over the head about it, I can just stop doing it, right? It's not working. I've tried it. It's not working. Let me try something different. What can I add? So instead of prepping meals over the weekend, maybe I can order in some healthy meals. And I know that there are many solutions to healthy meals that you can order in or you can have in your freezer and just take up. What can you add And where can I get support? And Howard said that would be, it's difficult to keep self-motivated. But if that's your case, well, why don't you team up with somebody? Why don't you team up with whatever it is, somebody who wants to do the same thing that you want to do, and then you team up. You have an accountability partner. How would that feel? Any comments on that? Right? So if you can be convinced that what you want to achieve in 2024, the change you want to introduce, if you can believe that it's 100% possible, you just need to find the way to get there. Do you see what I mean? And you can tweak it. You can extend the timeline, or you can revise your goal, or you can change how it is you plan to get there. Then I would like for you to make a long list of celebrations. Why do we want to celebrate? We want to celebrate when we achieve our goal. So let's say you've left work for a whole month at 6 p.m., which was your goal. You want to really celebrate that. You want to do something that impresses on your subconscious that you did something good, right? Making that effort, getting organized and sticking to your goal, there's a reward. So I would love for you to make a long list of celebrations, and I'd love for you to share some of them in the chat if you can. So for me, celebrations could be buying myself flowers. It could be having a meal with a friend, like having lunch with a friend, or it could be buying myself something I've had my eyes on. It could be taking an afternoon off. It could be so many things, reading a book instead of working, or doing something a little bit naughty and frivolous, right? What could be a celebration for you? Have you got any in mind? I'd love to know, and I'd love if you shared it in the chat so that I can get some new ideas for celebrations. I know that many of my clients, they like to sit down with a cup of tea and do nothing. Right? And that in and of itself can be a celebration. I mean, it doesn't need to cost anything, and it doesn't need to involve champagne and a lot of expenses or a lot of time. Could be something as simple as going for a walk. I enjoy that too. Taking time, go out and dance. I love that, Andrea. Yes. So if you make that list and you set yourself up to celebrate, or if you prefer to reward yourself, if you set that up, so let's say my 5th of February, that's when I wanted to have enough focus at work. If I achieve that, if I can say, oh, I made progress on here, let me go and celebrate, I've already scheduled that celebration into my diary. So I'm not thinking, oh, what can I do? And most importantly, I'm not forgetting, right? I am following through. Yeah, take a day off. Of course. Yes, completely. So how could you celebrate? And once you've decided on a whole long list in the workbook, I left you loads of space for it, schedule them into your diary so you make sure not to forget, right? Something to look forward to, and it can be motivating. Howard, you talked about motivation. Well, when you know that you've got something, you've got a reward, you're not far out. You're getting to it. You just need to stick with it for another week, and then you get to it, right? That's how you create change. So let me just recap and have a look at the time. So you've learned how to evaluate without the judgment. So when we evaluate, it's not to criticize ourselves. It's not to tell ourselves we did something wrong. It's to notice so that we can tweak. You've decided what you want to improve. So you're very clear on where it is you want to start your efforts. You're not overreaching. You're not underreaching. You are aiming for that soft spot in the middle where you can achieve it. It's a stretch, but you can do it. You've decided an action plan on how to do it, how you're going to achieve it. You've evaluated the cost of implementation, right? What is it going to cost me? And am I willing to pay that price? Am I willing to make that effort? You know how you're going to measure your progress on a scale from 1 to 10. And if you're not making progress, you know what to change. You know that you have to change. You'll need to come up with something different. Don't keep doing more of what is not working. And then we've had a look at how to celebrate. And the celebration is just you priming your subconscious for success. It's telling it, if you do this, you will be rewarded. And who doesn't want to be rewarded? Right? Who doesn't want that? Who doesn't want to have things to look forward to? Right? It makes life so much better. And that's how I talked about, if you remember, in the beginning of bringing in elements of your dream life into right now. So we don't have to put it out there. We don't have to wait till something dramatic changes in our lives. We can bring in that change on purpose, little by little. So that's what I wanted to share with you, but there's more. If you want to take this further, if you want to transform your whole life, not just hit a goal or two, if you really want to go all in on yourself in 2024 to make sure that you are making those changes, please book a consultation with me. So on a consultation, I will show you just what is possible. What is possible right here, right now, as you are, without you being any different, without you changing everything at once. I can help you make those changes. Your first step to guaranteeing that those changes will take place is to book a consultation. So let me just share that link in the chat. If you're here live, feel free to go and book a consultation via the chat. If you're watching the replay, I'm sure there will be a link somewhere in an email or in the box below where you can book a consultation. So once you book a consultation, you'll be meeting up with me and we'll be looking at what you're doing now and where you want to be. And then we'll be looking at what it is you're doing now that is not working, and then we'll tweak it to find something that will work. So I'll be looking at where you are now and where it is you want to be, and then we'll be finding out how you can get there. You are more than welcome, Wendy. So thrilled you are here. Thank you. So, as I was saying, please go ahead and book a link if you're here live. Also, if you're watching the replay, of course, book a link, book a consult via the link. You're welcome, Andrea. Right, brilliant. You're so welcome. So you can use the link, go on a consultation with me so that you can see just what is possible. Because do you know what is possible, really? What if you actually could make 2024 radically different from anything you've been doing so far? What if by doing these little micro different steps could actually get you to where it is you want to be? Is there a replay in the Facebook group? Yes, you will both be able to go to the replay in Facebook or in the email. So keep your eyes out. Yes, there is a replay. And of course, you're welcome to watch it even if you're here live, right? So that you can go through all the things you want to change in your life. And if you want my help, I'm here. So please go ahead, book a consult. I'd be thrilled to be meeting up with you, and I'd be even more than delighted to hear more about you and what it is you want to change in your life. Like, change can seem like something impossible to achieve. It can seem like insurmountable. It can seem like you are all on your own, but it needn't be like that, right? You actually can get the help and support that you want. And just think about it. What if you were sure that January 2024 would come around, 25 would come around, January 2025 would come around, and every change that you wanted would actually have taken place? What if that was the case? Think about it. What would that mean to you? What would that mean to your life, to your circumstances, to people around you? What would your general feeling and in life be, and how would you look at yourself if you accomplished all of that? Okay, Wendy, you're so welcome, Andrea. Thank you for coming. Brilliant. Okay, please do try, yeah. Get to bed earlier. So change is possible. Like, it's possible to transform your life in a year, right? If you're willing to do what it takes, if you're willing to feel the feels you will have to feel. So think about, well, what would I ideally want to be living in January 2025? How can I best accomplish it? How can I put all the chances on my side? And I think you would agree with me that having somebody look at it from the outside would really greatly improve your chances of success. So please go ahead, book a consult. Yeah, 21 days, they say, to change a habit. That's what they say based on the average. So for you, it might take 21 days, but for somebody else, it might take 42, right? We're all different. We're all different, but what we all need is support. What we all need is encouragement and inspiration. So go ahead, if you haven't done so yet, go ahead and find a time when you book a consultation. Maybe I should just share with you what it looks like. If you live in North America, I won't have very many afternoon times available. But let me just show you that if you scroll down, let's say you're here, if you can't find the right time, oh no, it's on your phone, you can't really see a lot of the times, but you can just scroll down, right? I've got time tomorrow and Friday. So why not go ahead and book? So you click on the date and you pick a time, right? It's really quite simple. If you can't find a time, well, why don't you pop me an email? Oh, the cost of the consultation is free. Right. I'm not selling you my consultation. I'm inviting you to a consultation. So you come to the consultation knowing that this could be potentially life transforming, in that you get a view, a different view, a new perspective on what it is you want to accomplish, right? As a life coach, I can tell you what you're doing, what you could do to make it work, or what you could do to change it completely and do something completely different, so that you'll start getting the results. That's the whole point. And it's free because I learned so much. I get to meet you and I get to learn so much about you. I get to know about your dreams and aspirations, and that is so inspiring to me. Okay, so how says this puts a final touch on my 2024 goal planning. I always enjoy. Okay. Oh, lovely. Thank you so much, Howard, for all those kind words. Oh, you're from South Africa, Monica. Lovely. How exciting. Right. So I'm looking forward to meeting up with you. Please go ahead. Don't think that you're wasting my time. You're not. I enjoy spending time with you and I enjoy meeting you. Yes, I know, Howard. I know you're in Canada. Great. So please go ahead. Feel free to book a consult if you think that it will help you. So I'm here to support you, and I'm very happy to support you individually. I do realize that having all of this information just thrown at you could be a little bit overwhelming, right? But let's tailor make it to you. Let's find something that is so specific to you that you can actually see how you can accomplish it, right? That these steps will absolutely take you to your goal. Okay, thank you, Howard. So Howard's paying me compliments in the chat, but he's making it a private chat, so that's why you can't see it. But anyway, so I'd love to meet up with you. If you've got any questions now, please go ahead, pop them in the chat. If you haven't got any questions, I shall just say, well, see you in a consult, on a consult, see you in the Facebook group, see you somewhere, and Can I just put out the wish for you that you really go all in on yourself in 2024, that you really believe that you are worth making the effort for, that all your goals and desires are completely possible, that you can do it, that you are doing it, that it's all here, it's all possible, it's all happening, right? Thank you very much for staying till the end. Hope to connect with you soon. Bye for now.